Hey guys, welcome to Raw Customs Jeep Mods. This episode I'm going to be installing a universal switch panel into my Jeep Wrangler. Now if you own a Jeep or an off-road vehicle, you're most likely going to be adding electronic accessories to your vehicle like lights, lockers, inverters, things of that nature. And you'll be needing switches to turn all your electronics on and off. And I highly recommend using relays to run all your electronics through. That way you don't burn out your switches. And a great option for this is to actually use a switch panel system. In this case, all your relays are in a box that you can put anywhere. I actually put mine under the hood of the Jeep. And then you have one big bundle of wires that you run into the cab to a nice switch that you can put anywhere that you want in the cab. I'll leave a link below to the system that I'm using. For now, let's get to the video and see how it turns out. In the box, you'll find your switch box, your relay box, which are already wired up to your wiring harness. You also have a large selection of stickers for your switches, some wire connectors, zip ties, and the owner's manual. There's also a metal bracket to mount the switch panel. I wanted to mount the relay box under the hood in an area that was easily accessible. To do this, I relocated one of the horns and a couple of factory relays. And just my luck, there were two ground screws mounted to the firewall. I moved all the factory grounds to the back bolt so that I could use the front bolt as a mount for the relay box. The factory relays were dropped down and zip tied to the firewall. Next, I set the relay box in place and attached it to the front bolt. With the front of the box mounted in place, I marked and drilled a hole to hold the back of the box. And lucky enough, Jeep actually has a nice porthole to run wires from the engine bay into the cab. I put tape over the connector at the end of the wiring harness and then ran it through the port into the cab. The lights I bought for my light bar actually came with waterproof connectors. I pre-wired the grounds and then connected them to the relay box. I mounted all my grounds to the back ground bolt on the firewall and then mounted the relay box in place. Next, I ran the harness for the power to the battery and fuse box. And to finish off the engine bay, all the wires were cleaned up and secured with zip ties. Next, I made the selection on my stickers and applied them to the switches. The kit does come with some double-sided tape, so I used this to stick the switch panel to the driver's side pillar. Just a side note, this actually didn't hold well and the switch fell, so I replaced it with some 3M double-sided tape and it's been in place ever since. Next, I ran the wire behind the plastic cover on the pillar into the side of the dash. The side panel on the dash pops off pretty easily, so this made wiring pretty simple. I connected the two harnesses together and then tucked all the wire away. Then the only thing left to do was to test out the switches. One of the things I really like is that the switches actually change colors when they're activated.